Her shit, man. She won the Empire State Games in New York too, man.
Oh yeah, let's see that.
I'm very surgical, physical when I'm lyrical. So bat it down with medical, something critical. It's gonna take a miracle. Bright lights with the spiritual, written down like biblical. I finally reached the pinnacle. Yeah. Welcome to the house, the one they talking about. Word of mouth, the boxing playhouse, without a doubt. All the latest and greatest boxing news, that's what it's all about.
Hola mi gente, aquí Dani Santiago. Esta semana tenemos el orgullo para tener una leyenda en el deporte de boxeo de las mujeres. En verdad, yo soy de Nueva York, yo me gané los guantes de oro en Nueva York y esta mujer empezó y le hizo una demanda a la gente de los guantes de oro de la ACLU y por ella y otra muchacha que era sucedida se hizo el boxeo en Nueva York. Ahora va en inglés. Thank you, everyone. Hello, welcome to Boxing Playhouse Latin America. This week, we have the honor and pleasure of having a legendary, iconic person who was very integral in women's boxing. If it wasn't for people like her back in the 90s, there wouldn't be the possibilities of women's amateur boxing in New York City. Her name is none other than D. Hamaguchi. With my co-host, Spanish Ray Sosa. We got D. How you doing, D?
I'm doing great, Danny. It's great to see you.
Hey, listen, thank you for joining us. I got my partner right here, George Blades, and we got the maestro, the teacher, Spanish Ray from Spanish Harlem. What's up, Ray?
How you doing, guys? How's it going?
I'm good, man. I'm excited.
I'm great.
You good?
I'm great.
Yeah, man. I'm really excited. Me and D go way back. It was funny. In 1994, she won the Gold Gloves. She fought in Gold Gloves in New York City, where they it was the first year they implemented women's boxing in New York City in the Daily News Golden Gloves. In '95, I won them, and she fought that same year, and she kicked some butt, you know. And it was pretty awesome. It was awesome. It was amazing. And then, like 20-some years later, I see her in Tijuana in Mexico. So
Yeah.
you used to live in New York, but now you live in LA, right? Or you live in California?
Right. I moved in 2010. I moved from New York City, from Harlem straight to Hollywood, and then just last year I moved from LA to San Diego, Coronado to be specific.
Okay, you know Ray's from Harlem, right? Ray's from Spanish Harlem.
I can't wait to ask her
Oh,
questions.
sure.
Yeah, go ahead, Ray.
So what part of Harlem? What part of Harlem you were from?
I lived on 140th between 7th and 8th. Can you believe it?
They call
I
that
recognize.
candela. They call that candela, meaning hot candle.
You better
That
recognize.
is the worst in
How,
New York City,
how
according
did
to the New York Post.
how did you end up there?
104.
How do you end up there, Didi?
It's a crazy story.
Say it.
Basically, I had a great apartment in Little Italy, and I
Mm.
gave it up, like I sublet it to the wrong person
Oh man.
because I knew I was going to go out of town for a bit, and then when I came back I couldn't get that back, so I had to find somewhere legally split, Johnny on the spot, you know. So
Right.
initially I
Right.
stayed at the Harlem YMCA
Wow.
Oh my
on
God.
125th. You know the deal.
Yeah,
Harlem
yeah.
Yes, I stayed there for a hot minute until I found that place on 140th.
Shit.
Let me
How
tell you,
long?
you know how I
How
guess
long? How
what's the
long? How
record?
long were you there? How long were you there?
I was there. I was in Harlem 20 years, so about 10 years on 140th, and then I moved to 131
Wow,
because
10 years.
the city had to move me because the landlord was such a slumlord. He let the building go into such bad disrepair. The city had to move us all to different places, so then I
Right.
got moved to 131st. Yeah,
Was that Dominican
but
land? Dominicans, right? A lot of Dominicans there.
on 31st, it was a good mix.
Okay.
It was a good mix, but yeah, you know,
Well, we had the Puerto
um,
Ricans in Spanish Harlem. The Dominicans were on the west side, up there where you
right,
at.
yeah, yeah.
What you
But
went to
it
her
was
20? Yeah, go ahead.
it was mostly African American at that point. But it was, let me tell you something, like that was my real graduate school. You know what I mean? Like that was a real education.
Yeah, hold on, Ray. I want to tell you something.
Well,
This young lady, I think you went to Yale, right? Or Yale or
she
Harvard?
graduated. She graduated from
Oh,
Yale.
yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
What'd you graduate in?
Yes. I majored in architecture.
Wow. Is that why you moved up to New York because of the architecture and everything like that?
I moved to New York City originally to try to do work in the architecture profession, which I did for a little bit. But then I just changed up and did a lot of different things, you know, and then wound up being a school teacher. So that's what I'm still doing today.
I like what they asked you at the fight. I was watching you fight against Dobbs, and they asked you, so how you found these 4 rounds? And you said, well, it wasn't 4 years compared to the 4 years in here in
Yeah,
Yale.
exactly. Right.
Where it made a lot of sense what you said there.
Well,
And
I appreciate that.
I understand Blackmore trained you.
Yeah, he did. He helped me turn pro and all the way through, you know, my pro career. Yeah, I learned
Hey,
a lot.
hey,
I really, you know, I learned how to fight from him because, like, you know how they say when you're amateur, you think you know what
right,
you're doing,
right.
and then you turn pro, and then you really learn how to fight.
That
Kind
was
of like that.
Lennox Blackmore, right? Lennox, his name.
Yes,
And he had a
yes.
son, correct? He had a son that fought.
He, I'm not sure if his son fought, um, but he trained a lot of other guys that were from the same country as him,
Well,
Guyana.
let me tell you something. That's one of the most nicest guys I met in Greason's gym was Blackmore.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
Real
he's
nice
straight
guy.
up. Like
Yeah.
he'll tell you the truth, but he's a nice guy. You're right.
Is he still training fighters now over there?
You know, I'm really not sure. I think he's still there, but he might have had some health issues lately. So, you know, he may not be as active as he once was.
He been in the game a long time. A long time he's been in the
He's
game.
gonna be.
Yeah. I
He
mean,
wa-
he had his own career, you
he was
know?
a fighter, right? He was a fighter too, Lennox.
Yes, he was. He was the first person from his country to win the Commonwealth belt.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Dave,
he's,
George
you know,
Blaze here.
legend.
I'm gonna ask you something. You know, I've been a boxer for many years. Sorry.
D.
Yeah. I've been George Blaze. I've been a
Yes.
boxer for many years. What makes you decide to go from Ivy League to becoming a boxer?
Straight up, curiosity. I did
Curiosity?
judo for a long. Yeah, curiosity. Like I did judo from when I was a youngster. You know, I started doing judo maybe about 8 or 9 years old. I did it
Okay.
all the way through adulthood, and then, you know, there I am in Harlem, and I'm around a lot of other martial artists,
Right.
especially at the Harlem YMCA. People probably don't know, but there's a very rich history of martial arts right in
I know.
Harlem, right in New York. You know, and
I'm from the
I would
Midwest.
be around fellow martial artists, and they'd be telling stories and whatnot. And then, of course, boxing was always part of that conversation because of the, you know, the very rich history of boxing in New York City and people from Harlem who used to fight. Of course, you got like Sugar Ray, you know,
So you got bit
and
by the
it's
boxing
just
blood
so
and couldn't
embedded
turn
in
your way.
Harlem.
He's embedded in her.
Yeah, so then one day it just like dawned on me. I literally one morning sat straight up in bed and said to myself, hey, maybe I could box, you know? So I asked this older gentleman who was a neighbor and a very friendly person, that I really respected, you know, and he was the one that's always telling stories about boxing and whatnot. And I said to him, hey, we called him Ironhead. His real name was Robert Bradley. Um, rest in
Okay.
peace. But so I just said, hey, Iron, you know, you think I could learn how to box? Because I had never seen a woman box before, right? So I'm like, you think I could do that? And he just smiled. He looked at me, he goes, sure. He goes, you go to, you know, do you remember Connie Bryant?
Connie Bryant.
Um,
From New York.
well, I ran Barkley's trainer.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
We haven't talked about him
Trainer, I
already,
ran
guys.
Barkley. He used
Who's your favorite fighter? Who's your
He
favorite
used to
fighter
ha-
then?
he
Who's
used
your
to-
favorite fighter now? Sorry.
What was that?
Connie Bryant used to have a gym on 125th, and so my friend sent me to that gym, and that's just how I got started.
That was Jerome. Jerome Boxing Club. Jerome.
No, that was 125th.
Oh no, it was 125th and 5th. It's not there anymore. It's called it was called Knights Community Center or something like that. I can't even remember, but it was like there used to be a mosque in the same building. National Black Theater was there.
Who trained
Nation
you
of
there?
Islam was there.
Who was your trainer there? You remember your?
Connie Bryant.
Oh, Connie
Oh,
Bryant.
wow. Okay.
Okay.
But you know who else I met there? This is how I got the police. I met Saul Mambi.
Saul Mambi. Saul Mambi, yeah, the legend. Man.
Wow.
Yeah, he was awesome. I fought in the show with him.
You know him, right?
Yeah, I fought in the same show as he did. Yeah.
This was
Awesome dude.
this it was just after he had got shot in the shoulder or something, right?
Wow.
And so he had been out and he was trying to make a comeback. So he was working out at Connie's place. And he saw me, like hitting the bag, doing my thing, and he pulled me aside one day. He was a real nice guy. He gave me a pair of gloves. He goes, "Here, use these. Don't hurt your hands on the bag." And then he also said, "Hey, you should go to Gleason's." So, that was the person that set me off in that direction.
Wow,
Thank
okay.
goodness.
He has a question for you.
So D, not to change the subject, but I'm just curious. Who was your favorite fighter back then? And then it's probably a two-part question. Who's your favorite fighter back then and who's your favorite fighter now? And then who's your favorite female fighter besides yourself?
Wow. So my favorite fighter of all time, it's like a tie between like Joe Louis, Sugar Ray Robinson, and Archie Moore.
Archie Moore.
Good way
The Mongoose. The Mongoose.
Mongoose. But in a way, I favor Archie Moore because this is what he had to go through to get to where, to get to be a world champion.
I'm curious, and maybe you can answer this question. How long did Archie Moore fight? What age did he stop fighting?
I think didn't he start in his 20s and he went to his 40-something?
Yeah, he had about 1,000 fights. I know that.
I'm curious on that myself. I'm going to have to
Yeah,
look that
it's
up.
crazy.
So when you started taking when you started walking this path, and they told you that you wanted to fight in the Golden Gloves, and they told you couldn't do it, what possessed you to keep pushing, and what course did you take to make that possible?
Well, I guess I'm just a little bit too logical for my own good sometimes, right? Because do you remember there was that little form in the Daily News, right? That you cut out and fill it in and mail it in. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, it doesn't say male or female, right? It just put name, address, weight. So I'm like, they're not asking me. I'll just fill it in. I'm gonna put my first initial. So they didn't ask me. You didn't ask me if I was male or female. I'll put my first initial. I'm gonna send this in and see what happens. That was 90. And so then they set me back up. This is
93 going to 94, right?
Exactly. They sent me back the paperwork package with all the physical, for the physical exam and whatnot. And but that's the year we had a bad snowstorm.
Yeah. I was living there. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if you remember, but there's like everything got shut down. So we didn't get our mail.
Yeah.
So I didn't get the mail in time to show up for the medical. By the time I got the letter, it was already passed.
Passed it.
So we missed out on that opportunity. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But
keep on.
Yeah, in the meantime, I called him up, and the fellow at the Daily News said, "Well, there wouldn't have been any. There's no other woman, anyways." I said, "Well, you guys gotta let us enter. Like you can't just say you can't enter because there's no one to fight. You don't know if there's anyone to fight unless you enter. You know, you let us enter.
Of course.
You know, we were going a little bit around in circles over the phone, so that's what kind of gave me the thought. Well, maybe I need to speak to someone who understands this from a legal point of view. You know,
Yes.
right? So then, you know, I went down a couple different paths, and someone pointed me in the direction of the American Civil Liberties Union, and there was an attorney there who specifically worked on what they called the Women's Project. So she's an attorney who helped women get admission to West Point Academy, for example.
Okay.
So she fought for them to get into that. So she was like the perfect person to go talk to. So you know, that's what I was able to do. Her name's Sarah Mendelbaum. She took the case on and then just started making phone calls, you know.
Yeah.
And she never had to file anything. She just made phone calls and sent letters, you know, to the Daily News, to the Metro LBC, to, you know, different boxing organizations. And then lo and behold, you know, I guess they that's probably a little intimidating, right? Getting a call from ACLU's attorney. So they just turned around and did the right thing, you know, rather than maybe
Fight
deal
you.
with the lawsuit.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So Ray, she was a fighter from the jump because she put her gloves on and she went right after everybody to make this possible.
That's crazy.
Huh?
That's something. That's something. Salute to her, man. I mean, look at boxing now, you know. And speaking of boxing now, salute to Serrano for winning her 12 round, 3 minute rounds bout in Orlando. She just won, right?
Yeah. What do you think of that? How far boxing has come since your days in the Golden Gloves?
Yeah, I mean, that is awesome to see. I mean, I'll admit I did not get a chance to see the fight itself, but just to know that it's 12 3-minute rounds, that's what it should be, right?
Yeah. I
Salute
mean,
to her.
equal. I mean, they can handle it. You guys can handle it.
It's like, okay, we're women fighting other women. Why do we, you know, why wouldn't you let it be that same equal amount of time, you know?
Yeah, man.
Is there any
So,
like? I'm a fan of Amanda Serrano, and so I mean I'm a fan of a lot of women boxing. But is
yeah,
there a favorite that you have? Is there somebody you're like, wow, you know?
I really feel like Lucia Riker. She
You
might
still
You
like
went
Lucia
back.
remain,
You
Riker?
went back. You went back.
yeah, because she had that one punch knockout power,
She
you
was
know,
tough.
Okay.
She
or
was tough.
that snap. She had that left hook, like literally that was like a one punch KO with her. She had a great left hook.
She kind of left boxing quietly, right? Like she just like what happened to her?
She got into acting. I know what she did.
She got
Yeah,
into
I know.
that Million movie.
I I
Yeah.
I, I seen that, but I just wondered as far as boxing, how did she retire champion, or I don't even know what was her final
They
stage.
they
Great
try
question,
to
Ray,
make
because
us.
she did kind of just disappear.
What was that?
I said, great question, because she did just kind of just disappear, just fade
Yeah,
away.
that's what
Exactly.
But she was making
I
movies.
think
I mean, listen, it's easy to get punched in the face for a living, right?
Oh,
he's making, you know,
Because
but
I seen her in another movie that had nothing to do. It wasn't $1 million Baby. I seen another boxing type movie. She did a few other movies. You know, they obviously didn't break the box office, but she did make some movies. Real quick, I want to make a comment here. We have Coach Lou Acevedo, a frequent viewer. We're gonna have we can probably add him to the show. He says, D, did you ever work with anyone from Long Island? D, amazing what you went through in the sport of boxing. He gives you kudos.
oh,
Did
thank
you
you so much.
did you ever work with anybody in boxing and from Long Island? Because when you were in the Golden Gloves, you traveled. We traveled a lot. I fought in the Golden Gloves. You traveled
Yeah,
around to different boroughs, right?
yeah, exactly. I don't think I never like actually trained out in Long Island, but a friend to this day is a woman named her name back then was Christine Bruno. I
Christine Bruno.
apologize. 'Cause her last name now starts with a Z. but like we're friends on IG, you know what I mean? So I feel like we're still sort of like in each other's life in a distant kind of way. But she
Cool,
also
cool.
became a school, so it's like she was right there with me at the very first Golden Gloves. Like we shared a change room, you know, and it's like it's funny that kind of bond you have, you know, when you're both diving into something that's like the unknown. And
Yeah.
she was also the very first woman I met that was wanting to box. And so she and I made a pact. Like I was like, after that I couldn't enter the first Golden Gloves. I called her over the phone. Someone introduced us, and I was like, "Hey, let's make a deal. Let's both show up to try to enter the Empires." And so she and I both tried to enter the Empire State Games in the summertime. Right? They wouldn't let us because we both were not open class fighters.
Yes.
But I was telling her, "Hey, if we at least both show up, they can't say nobody wants to do this." You know what I mean?
You
Mm.
opened you
Because
you
that was the
kicked down the
argument I got
doors.
with both of them.
Trendsetter. For sure.
You kicked down the doors
Yes,
for these women.
exactly. So Christine Bruno, she was my partner in crime, right from jump, as you say.
Was that in 94, 95?
That would have been that would have been probably the summer of '94.
Okay. Because I won,
So
you
we
know,
had to get
the year that you and I won the Golden Gloves was 95. I won the Golden
right.
Gloves in 95, 96, but I won the Metros and I won the Empires. And I remember seeing you definitely at the Golden Gloves, and I thought I saw you at the Empires, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because then they changed it up. So they because that was one of the things that the attorney Sarah Mendelbaum brought up to the Empire State organization. She said, "You can't tell these women they can't enter because they don't have 5 fights if you don't give them a chance to get the 5 fights, right?"
Exactly.
So that I think that really, you know, made them think like, you know, this lady has a point. We better just let them enter. So then everybody kind of just opened the door, you know.
Yeah. Open the
D-
floodgates.
Didi, I got a question. You fought Dobbs twice, right? You fought Dobbs twice,
3 times.
three
Wow.
times. Okay, I got a
Yeah.
que- I got. I just saw the fight earlier. I don't know how good your memory is, but the first fight with Blackmore was in your corner.
Right.
The second fight was that Roca. Roca was in your corner.
That was Orlando Carrasquillo.
I've been looking for that guy. That
Yeah,
guy.
he's in Florida.
I've been looking for that guy. Hey,
Yeah.
We actually have.
tell
We actually
everybody.
have.
Tell everybody. Wow, what a deja. Listen to me. How good
Uh-huh.
was he with the mitts? That guy. How good was he with the mitts?
Oh, he was great. I mean that I actually reached out to him to try to get him to come back out. I was like, "Orlando, I need you." He's like,
Do you got
I'm retired.
you got his contacts?
On he's on Facebook.
We try to
Under
find he's not. I don't know. He doesn't. He's hardly on there. Danny, I tell you, we got to get him. That guy.
Yeah, no, we spoke a lot about him because everybody talks about this guy. Everybody's like, man, this guy's the most amazing Mick guy. And
Hell
we've been
yeah.
trying to find him.
Hands down. Hands down.
Oh yeah, Orlando's a great guy. He's very, 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 very humble.
Real
Like you would
quiet
never
too.
hear. Yeah, you would never hear him like talk himself up about who he worked with, but he worked with
Man,
like at the time he was working with Paulie Malignaggi and Zav Judah, and that's just
everybody.
that was
Junior,
just, and then everybody else.
everybody.
Hmm.
Wow, what a coincidence, man. Orlando. Wow. I asked Junior Jones about him. He's trying to find him. Mark Breland worked with him.
Yeah,
I seen him. Yeah, when Mark took me to the gym, I see this guy. I said, "Yo, Mark, who's this guy?" He was, I mean, he made you work. He boxed in there with you. To
yeah.
this day,
Plus,
I've never seen anybody work mitts like Orlando. To this day.
yeah, see,
Yeah.
and that's why, or you know, old school guys like Orlando and Lennox Blackmore. You know, I mean, I still like right now. I wish I could work with somebody like that, because it's all. I mean, we could go on and on probably about how the sport has changed, how the game has changed, how people's attitude has changed,
Right.
right? But yeah, I mean, everyone's just doing IG mitts now. They're not really teaching you why you're doing what you're doing, how to move, how to
Hey,
defend.
what made you
And
have him in your corner?
Facts.
Why you picked
Facts.
him?
Yeah.
You had him in your
well,
corner. There's a reason you had him there.
Blackmore couldn't make that fight because I'm sure like he had another fight in the books, or he was in camp with let's be honest, a fighter that was going to make him some money.
Right.
So we were all in agreement. I just said, hey, let me take Orlando for this fight.
When I saw that fight today, he's always in the background. You always see him in the back. The Duvas had him. He was in a lot of fights, but he's in the back. You don't even know he exists there, and he's the guy that made the sandwich. He's the guy that trained these guys.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, because he didn't want to be jump in the spotlight. That's just not his character at all. That's the only thing I really like about him, is he's super calm in the corner, super calm, like just get you to the fight, to the ring, just talk to you super calm, between rounds.
Hey, Didi, when I saw him today, when I saw him today, I went, finally, that's Orlando. And I looked you up. Nobody ever had him in the front but you. You put him there.
Wow.
You had him there.
That's awesome. You gave him his flowers.
And that's crazy. Now that she's on here. Yo, Danny, how long I've been telling you we got to find this guy? How long?
We've been talking about it at least a good 8 or 9 months, man. It's been nuts. We've been trying to find him forever. But listen, I don't want to take away from this, but Facebook. Listen, we also have I wanted to talk to you about this because there's a place that you're from that's very near and dear to me. I love this place. The only thing I don't like about this place is the weather. Montreal, Canada. You're a Canadian by birth.
I am.
I love. Listen, I love Montreal. I love La Cage. Do you speak French? Parlez-vous français?
Oui, mais j'ai oublié beaucoup, mais je parle français.
Oui, monsieur. Oui, monsieur.
Let me tell you something. I love Montreal. It's just, I actually contemplated moving there, but it was just the cold weather, 10 months of cold weather. I'm like, no, man, no, that's just too much for me.
Yeah, that's a lot, man.
At what age did you move from Montreal to the States?
Well, my family actually moved from Montreal when I was still a baby.
Okay.
We moved from Montreal to Rochester, New York, because my dad was going to school there.
Rochester.
So I actually had early childhood in Rochester, New York, if you could believe that.
You've been all over.
Yeah. Then we moved back to Canada, and I pretty much grew up all the way through high school in the capital of Canada, called Ottawa, which is just a couple hours from Montreal. But it's a government city. It's incredibly clean because they got to keep it up and.
It's like Toronto. Toronto's like a clean New York.
Well, that's funny because to Americans, Toronto's clean, but to me, growing up in Ottawa, Toronto's dirty. Like that's how clean Ottawa.
No, I've been to Ottawa. Yeah. You're a Sabres, so you like the Sabres.
Well, Ottawa actually has its own NHL team now. It didn't when I was there. They only had a minor league team, but they got the Senators. So, but I was never good at skating, so I couldn't really play hockey or any of that.
Oh my God. Okay. So we have some comments here, Coach Lou. He says, "Très bien." Sakura Armstrong says, "Changing requirements for any organization today is almost impossible. I can't imagine what you, as a minority woman, what's up against back in the day at that particular time." So, oh my God, salute to you. And you know what? That's facts. Let me tell you something. like I said, I know Dee very well over the years. I go back with her probably, I mean, 1994, 1995. What is that? 31 years or whatever it is, right? She's a little thing. Like she went up against powerhouses, man. Like you weren't afraid of that?
Nah. I mean, all they could do was say no, right? I mean, that's how I look at it. But I also looked at it like the law's on my side. Like you can't discriminate. In amateur sport, you can't discriminate. Professional, they can do whatever they want, right? They just don't be dumb enough to say that you're gonna discriminate, right? But amateur sport, you can't discriminate. It's a law.
So D, you know, D with Dobbs, you fought a. I don't want to go back there, but I gotta ask you this because I was watching. You fought Dobbs 3 times. The first one, you won the first one, correct?
I won the middle one, so it was a draw, a win for me, and then another draw.
How did you feel about the draws? I didn't get to see the fights. How you felt about them?
I mean, you know how they say it's like you always feel like I always felt like I won the ones that I drew. I got a ridiculous number of draws. That's why my record is so lopsided, right? But I mean, that's the other thing with the 2-minute rounds, right? It's a close round. Hard to, 2 minutes is not quite enough. You might even maybe 15 more seconds and you can make it a little more decisive, but 120 seconds, you know what I'm saying?
But did she have a lot of connections to get these 3 fights with you? Why 3? How did that happen?
Her husband at the time was Bobby Dobbs, who's working her corner, right? And he was a boxing promoter himself, but he was like looped in with
he was tied in,
the boxing. Let's put it that way. Okay, I don't want to. I'll just tell the truth, and I'm not trying to put Bobby down.
On here for that. We're on here for that.
He will bring the B-sides, the male B-sides. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So he would bring the B-side to get matched up with the promoter's A-side.
He would feed them.
So now to do him a solid, right? He's bringing these D-sides.
Salute. I needed to hear that. Solid,
okay. Because what's it costing the promoter? A couple grand. They only paid us like chump change, like $1,000 and change, So I mean, he and I never spoke about it. But I mean,
how do you feel about how do you feel about fighting him 3 times? Were you like, damn, again? Or how did that in your mind fighting him 3 times?
You know what? It was good because shoot, at least back then we actually got paid freaking money, Danny, right? Like now it's flip flop. You gotta pay to fight. Pay to play.
Yeah, you gotta pay the spot fees. You gotta Nowadays it's all about spot fees and how many tickets you, how many followers you have. But let me ask you this. You're like sometimes I sit here in my house and we're both former fighters and coaches, coach and stuff. Do you look at the insane amount of money that fighters in general, as women in general, making nowadays? You're like, dang it, I was born in the wrong era. Right.
I mean, that whole YouTube thing or the whatever you want to call it, right? Like that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Right? You got people with no, like zero, like they're not even amateurs. They're like sub-amateur, right? They get pay-per-view and they're killing it money-wise. So it's kind of like, yeah, that's not me. I mean, I if I was a guy, I would feel more like a little more bummed out because there is actually more opportunity, you know what I mean, for a man to make money. There's better opportunities for women now, but it's still not on that same level as it is for the men who make it, to the top. Or somebody that's on your level, Danny, right? Like you win the Golden Gloves, or if you're at that level, I mean, at this day and age, you should get signed, like, and with a decent bonus and all that.
Hey, Danny, how you guys met?
I met her in the Golden Gloves. I saw her. I used to see her around all the time, And when I fought in the Golden Gloves in '95, I saw her there. And be honest with you, there was, the Daily News and everything was sponsoring the show, right? So there was a few people that all the cameras were on. They were on D. Hamaguchi and Zab Judah. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I mean, I was lucky. I made the front page because I had a spectacular knockout. It was amazing. I fought at the Kips Bay Boxing Club in the Bronx. I'm from the Bronx, and I had a really nice article. But I had like one article the whole year. Everything else was about, and I'm not hating because I have mad love for you, but it was about the women's boxing, D. Yamaguchi, and I forgot the other ladies' names, and Zab Judah. I mean, you had no choice but to know who D was because she was always in the paper.
But how you met her? How did you get to talk to her? What was the first interaction with her?
I seen her at the fights, and I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" She's like, "How you doing?" And I've always seen her, but where we really clicked was literally like 30 years later. I saw her in TJ, and I saw her. I'm like, "Wow!" And we started speaking. I gave her a hug. We exchanged numbers, and she's living in LA. And one of my kids, his manager's from LA, and we just ran the same circles. So, I mean, look, I've done some of my things in boxing, but this lady right here, record, no record, gloves, no gloves, she's done more for women in boxing. I have respect for her, and I have respect for all the women, but there's three women that I like. Dora and Cora Weber. They were like women boxing back in the early 80s, right? And Dee Hamaguchi, when she changed women's boxing in the New York City Golden Gloves. That's like historic. I mean, you can Google her name and so many insane articles are going to come up about her because she's really pioneered and opened up these opportunities for women like Serrano and Ramos and all these people that are coming around, because the reality of it is, if it wasn't for the Dora Webbers and the Cora Webbers and Dee Yamaguchi, I mean, they'd be starting this stuff off now. You know what I mean? And who knows when? And I used to look at her. She was I don't know what you weigh, like maybe 119 pounds, 120 pounds.
109.
Yeah, not even. I'm like, I usually walk around 106. So, yeah.
So like, my leg weighs 109. You know what I mean? Like, I weighed myself today. I was like 228. I mean, I lost some weight. I was at 240, but I was 228. And I'm sitting here, and I remember Dee like it was yesterday, and she hasn't. I'm not flirting with you. I'm married, but you haven't aged either. Like, I don't know if it's the Asian thing or something, but you haven't aged a bit. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that, Dan.
Hey, Dee, where you at now?
I'm in San Diego.
Nice. And you still train? You on your free time, you go to the gym. You do a little boxing.
Yeah.
She's there now.
I'm still looking for a fight, believe it or not. I'm gonna see if I can. I might. I'm toying with the idea of going down to TJ again.
No. Come here. Come here.
Well,
come to Columbia.
If we can hook it up, I'll do it.
I got you. As soon as we get off the show, we're gonna talk about that. I got you.
Nice.
Okay.
Don't feel bad, D. I'm gonna come out of retirement myself. Oh, I'm dead serious though.
Yeah, he's gonna fight again.
Oh, I'm dead serious.
Good. Hey, right. George, what weight you looking at? What weight?
75, man. 75.
Okay, light heavy.
Wow.
Okay.
I got a destiny to fulfill. I didn't fulfill it when I was doing my thing, but I had a major knee surgery, man. My story's pretty great. I'm just real humble. You guys gonna hear about it, definitely. No doubt you're gonna hear all about it. I mean, my story's a 10 session. What do you call it? A 10 episode. You know what I mean? If not 20 episodes. Because I've been through it, man. I come out of the Midwest, I come out the bottom, you know what I mean? I come out the trunk. I originally built my career selling tickets, so I'm real familiar. So I know what it's like looking at these guys.
You got any trainers in mind? You want to come back with?
Man, are you out your mind?
Hey, I'm trying to be sarcastic, man.
Oh, okay. I was getting ready to say.
Hey, listen.
My dude Danny got me.
Listen, real quick. He came out of Columbia, man, just to check it out, and he said, "I'm not going back." You know what I mean? So,
wow.
Harlem Nights, baby, Harlem Nights.
D, we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk when we get off the phone. Listen, we got something. Coach Lou Acevedo. I mean, he comes up with some great statements. He comes up with some great analogies and questions. he says something. I'm going to twist it a little bit, but he says that we should eventually come up with some type of fundraiser or some type of organization that comes up for women who paved the way. I think. Have you ever thought about creating some type of because you're a pioneer in every aspect of the word, and I know Alex Ramos. You know Alex Ramos from LA, right? The Bronx Bomber, the original Bronx Bomber. Do you know him?
Yeah.
He has the boxing retirement fund. Have you ever thought about going into that aspect of things with all your knowledge and your wealth of knowledge of boxing to create something for women?
No, I've never really thought about that, but I mean, all I know is there's I think somebody might have done that, but I'm really not sure.
I haven't heard anything like that, but I mean, you've knocked on the door and pioneered everything else. Why not put on that hat?
That's a good point. That gives me something to think about. That's good advice.
Lou, thank you for. I mean, you planted the seed, Coach Lou. There's a guy named Coach Lou Azevedo out of Florida, an amazing guy, an inspiring, great coach. Hopefully, I'm gonna get to see him. I'm actually on my way to Florida tomorrow. I got a kid fighting on a Don King show that we got to speak about. There's a big five championship bout event. We have a close friend of the Boxing Playhouse family called Jesus Escalera. He's going to be fighting Jonathan Goodry for the WBA and NBA heavyweight title. We have the icon Isaiah Requilium. He's going to be fighting. There's a few good fights that this very Saturday, and tomorrow morning I'm going to be on a plane jet setting back over there. But listen, if you want to come down to Colombia, I will put you on the show tomorrow. I got it hooked up over here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm looking for a fight, man. I'm kind of itchy, you know what I'm saying?
Being that you in Hollywood, right? Being that you in Hollywood, I know the $1 Million Baby was filmed in New York, but you're in LA for so many long years, and now you're in San Diego. You never been asked to get involved in the boxing aspect of movie production?
No, I mean, I cross paths with it a little bit, because, like you said, just being in LA, training at Wild Card, which is right in the middle of Hollywood, and a lot of the actors who were gonna play a boxer would come by to try to learn a little boxing. You know what I mean? Like Cuba Gooding was there. You'd see people. But I guess I was too focused on my workout to really think about that. But that is another aspect of boxing, like fight choreography and whatnot.
You get to work with Freddie Roach over there? You work with Freddie?
No, I didn't get a chance to work with Freddie. I mean, I got a chance to talk to him a lot. He's a very down to earth guy. Like, if you could always approach him and ask him questions. He gave me some helpful advice, especially about I showed him one of our boxing contracts once, and he looked it over, and he points right to where it says 3 meals, and he says to me, "You better tell them you want 3 meals a day at $30 each." I just looked at him like weird, and he looks at me, goes, "Well, what? You want him to buy you 3 Happy Meals?" I'm like, "Oh, you're right. Okay." So I made the revision.
It's the little things.
Oh yeah, but he was very generous with his advice,
Experience.
And like you said, it's like, yeah, you got the experience, these little details,
Yeah.
I hear you talk about being in LA. I spent a little time in LA and a little bit of time in Big Bear, actually quite a bit of time. I'm gonna name a few trainers. You ever go to Terry Claiborne's gym?
No, I'm not familiar with his gym.
What about Sadiq Saluki?
I met Sadiq. I have a lot of respect for Sadiq because
Sadiq is a really good brother of mine.
He and his son.
Kevin Morgan.
Who?
Kevin Morgan.
I met him also at Wild Card. I haven't seen him in years, not for years.
Well, I haven't either. I talk to Sadiq every now and again. I look forward to returning to LA. I just look forward to returning to LA. It's a really good spot. I'm surprised you hadn't got picked for any movies though, because you know what I mean. You got that personality, you got that spice, you got that rawr. You know what I mean? I'm really surprised on that because I got talked to. I got approached several times being out there myself, and I know others that did. I can't believe you haven't been. Looking like you're 24.
Yeah, I mean, look at her. She's
Yeah, looking like you're 24. Get on down here to Columbia. I can't wait to work with you.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that because there's shows here in Santa Marta. There's shows every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and every weekend of the year. It's really very simple to get it going. You know, I got another comment here from Alexander Castro. He happens to be a fighter that I trained, and I want to ask you about that. Alexander Castro is going to be fighting. We're leaving on a plane tomorrow. We're going to be fighting. Hopefully, we'll give you on a plane tomorrow. Fighting this Saturday. Alex is going to be fighting on his 14th fight. And he says, saludos. He's saying hi to everybody here at Boxing Playhouse. Gracias, Alex.
What's up, champ?
Yeah. So he's going to be fighting this weekend. We're going to, we're going to fight this weekend, and God willing, we have something lined up for December. But I'm talking about that. Let's lead into this next question. You've been in boxing since the 1990s, right? You fought amateur. You were the Empire State Champion. You fought in the Golden Gloves. You were a professional fighter. You still train. You don't have any aspirations, or do you train, or do you have aspirations of being a trainer someday for male or female? Because women are training. We have a Florida Hall of Famer, Laura Ransby, that she trains guys and girls. Do you have any or maybe managing fighters?
You know, Danny, it's funny you asked that. I don't at the moment feel that in my heart, you know, that I could be dedicated to training a fighter.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, and that may change.
That's because you're not done.
When I'm maybe, yeah, that could be it. I was just about to say, you know, maybe when I'm done, I'll want to do that. But
what about maybe steering them, guiding them, like point them in the right direction?
Oh, you mean like just conversation wise?
Yeah, mentoring, managing, being an agent. I mean, you know so many people in boxing, and you've been around the game for so long. I mean, I think that one thing would walk into the other.
I mean, I think I'd be happy to just give advice. I don't know that I'd be a great manager just because I don't think I got the patience to deal with a lot of the boxing industry. But I'm always on the side of the fighter, you know. As a fighter, we always feel it in our heart for the fighter. So from that perspective, yeah, I'd be happy to, you know, share knowledge, share advice.
But you took on big industry. I mean, you know, I've been very fortunate to have a great group of people behind me. My manager, me and my manager, Vernon Rusty Ansel, and you know, maybe he'll watch the show someday. He's probably asleep about this time, but I was very fortunate to have really good people, you know, behind me. My old coach Camacho, was a few good people behind my back that have my back and stuff. And the mistakes that were made, I take upon myself. But in saying that, there are some fighters that I know that I've given advice to over the years because I've seen the good, I've seen the top, and I've seen the bottom, right? And you being a person of conviction because you challenge the thing that was not to be the norm, which is women boxing and Golden Gloves and things of that nature. I would think that that would be a hat that would really suit you well when you decide to walk away from the game as far as competition.
Right. Oh, I mean, I appreciate that vote of confidence. You know,
well, you're smart.
And definitely got all your faculties, I see. With all the fights.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, it's something to think about.
You still taking up judo?
No, I'm not actively doing judo, but I do practice like MMA style sparring.
Who was your teacher back in Harlem? Who was your teacher in Harlem?
Oh, I was the one teaching. I started a couple programs to teach little kids in the projects. Like
Oh wow.
King Towers. I did a program there, and Grant Houses.
Grand
Okay.
House.
Yeah, that was my. We really. I feel like I made a difference there for some of the little kids.
Did
Now
you
now
ten,
they're grown, but they were little
did you
kids back.
ten excuse me, did you attend any of the fights in Madison Square Garden? The kickboxing matches, Zab
Um,
Judah's father.
not. Oh no, I was too late for that. But I know that Yoel was a world champion kickboxer.
Did you hear of Wildcat Molina in Spanish Harlem? Wildcat Molina?
Yeah, you mean Melendez, Cookie Melendez? No.
Wildcat Molina was a martial artist from Harlem.
No, I don't know. That doesn't quite ring a bell.
Hey, real quick, I got another fighter here, Luis
Let's
Terrible
just
Tenorio. He's saying saludos, which means because we're based out of Boxing Playhouse Latin America, right? So we have a lot of Spanish viewers. Saludos, Luis Tenorio. Gracias por el apoyo. He's saying what's up to D Hamaguchi.
Look out for this
Hey,
kid. Look out for
what's
this
up?
kid. He can hit. This little rascal can whack.
So you didn't watch the Serrano fight? Is there a
I'm not. Is it a good fight? I'm
It
sure
was
it is. She's
amazing.
technical, so
It was amazing, and to be a championship fight, all 3-minute
right.
rounds. I mean, they
Yep.
did their thing. Ramos did it. She tried her best. I mean, so I think Serrano's just another. I mean, just on another level. We spoke about her the other day that me and Ray were talking about it the other day where Serrano. I know Ray knows some people that work with her, but I know some people that have been involved with her, and she doesn't do social media. She doesn't carry a cell phone.
Not yet. Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah. But she's very she keeps her circle really tight, and she seems to just be like she reminds me a lot of Marvin Hagler, right? Marvin Hagler, a lot of things that I've read about him. He's go away to training camp for 2 months, and he used to be be abstinent for 2 months and not just be focused on boxing, and yeah, he'd write letters and he did all those things, but he was just so focused. And Serrano, I have not had the pleasure of meeting her, but she seems to be cut from that cloth, right? And that's why she's as successful as she is. What do you think about? I'm sure you know Clarissa Shields, right? What do you think of her?
I have so much respect for her. I mean, there's not gonna, she's the only American that's ever going to win two gold medals, 2 gold medals at the Olympics. Nobody else is ever going to do that.
That's true.
I mean, because
Especially as a woman.
yeah, she won her first one. She was only 17. She was still a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, that blew me away. And to be honest, I was disappointed that the promoters didn't snatch her up at that time. I thought for sure, there'd be a bit of a bidding war or something. Like, come on, she's the only American that won a gold medal that year. And I thought that was going to shift things for women's boxing at the pro level, but it didn't. So, God bless her. She still was so young. She'd go back at 4 years later and get another gold medal. But yet and still, it was one of our colleagues, Dimitri Salita, right? Another New York boxer from the 90s that had the brains to sign her. Like, I thought for sure there'd be like some kind of bidding war because nobody else ever got, no other American ever got 2 gold medals at the Olympics. But I feel like I'm sorry?
Do you think perhaps the first time around they saw her as a young kid and they thought that maybe it was a fluke, so she had to come back and do it again? That's what it took.
I don't know, but I mean, but let's be honest, if that was a guy, wouldn't you want to sign him? I mean, yeah, he's young, but he proved he beat everybody in the freaking world. 17, right? Like Amir Khan did that when he was like, how old was he? He was like, when he won a silver medal, he was like he was a teenager too, right? And he got
Yeah.
snatched up. So I just figured, I just thought someone's gonna snatch her up, and it was just like
But
crickets, you know.
you know what she's
So
doing now though? She's got all the belts, she's got all the medals. She's
yeah,
in my opinion, she's up right up. I mean, if you want to call it the truth, she's the GOAT. She's the female GOAT, right? But you know
yeah,
now what she's doing, all those people didn't want to sign her and they signed those boys. She's beating up the boys now. It's
well,
true.
I mean, at least Dimitri's doing right by her, as far as, like, you know what I mean. Like, he's getting her. He got her all the right fights and everything. You know, like she's defended her titles however many times. You know, I mean, more power to her, and definitely. I mean, I wish all women fighters all the best. You know, because it's not easy just to even get a fight. So, you know, but I really respect so much, like, what Serrano has accomplished, what Clarissa has accomplished. You know, more props to them, and you know, I hope they get their flowers from the boxing industry at large. If not, then they'll just get their flowers from people that really understand what they accomplished. You know.
Well, I think the Serrano. I mean, look, that fight in Orlando. It might as well have been in Puerto Rico because there was every Puerto Rican in the world there. That lived in
Wow.
Florida, and she was the main event. I mean, you know, there's women who, when you see a woman being a main event on a pay-per-view card, I mean, they have grown a lot, and I give them all the respect in the world because they deserve it, right?
Yeah.
You know, that speaks volumes. You know, I mean, she's being promoted and help, not really helped along, but being promoted. And then they weren't stupid by signing her and getting involved with her, but the YouTube guys, the Paul brothers, you know,
Oh, right.
she's bringing in some serious coin, you know.
Right. Yeah.
What do you think of that? You know, some
I
people
mean,
have different opinions. Some people have different opinions about the YouTubers, but look, I wish I would have thought of it. I wish I would have. I wish I would have walked that path.
I
You
know,
know,
right?
and hold
He's
on.
correct.
Hold on one second. The truth of the matter is that, you know, call it a gimmick, call it whatever, but I think that in all due respect, they're bringing a set of eyes that wouldn't normally watch boxing.
Absolutely.
You know, and you have to give credit where credit is due because there's a lot of people that watch boxing now that wouldn't normally watch boxing because, you know, they brought that attention to boxing. That look at Serrano. She's making serious
Exactly.
money because of affiliation to these individuals. No,
Right. For sure. You know, props to them because they did support her and bring her skills to the limelight. You know, she was always a great product. She just didn't have the eyes on her, and these guys helped put eyes on her. So, you know, props
yeah.
to that partnership. You know,
Listen, don't get me
for
wrong.
sure.
I sit on this couch,
Uh-huh.
and sometimes Ray motivates me to work out and start running a little bit. And then what happens is I think about Jake Paul. I'm like, man, I wish one of these bastards would call me up. I'll block off, right? So I start running.
Funny.
I get down the stairs. I walk by the refrigerator, and then I stop. As soon as I see the refrigerator, it's a wrap.
That's funny.
Ray, what you know about that?
Huh.
Look at me. Look how big I am. I don't. I be by the refrigerator. I sleep next to it. So I ain't gotta walk to it. I'm right there. I just get up and I'm
Right over.
Hey, we got Coach again. Another great comment here. He says he thinks that Ryan Garcia is another YouTuber, like, you know, fame type of guy. What do you? I mean, you're from that area. What do you think of that? What do you think about Ryan Garcia? And for that matter, that 135, 130, 140 division is hot.
Frank
You got
Martin gonna
Tank.
get him. Frank Martin gonna be the one.
You got Tank. You got Frank Martin. You got Ryan Garcia. I mean, you got a lot of killers in that weight class.
Yeah, those are hot divisions right now. I actually am familiar with Ryan because I met him when he was still a teenager, just still an amateur, trying to decide what he was going to do. He wasn't sure if he wanted to go for the Olympics or turn pro. And then I met him just a few years ago, back when he was back training in Los Angeles. And he's not just a YouTuber, you know what I mean? He was a kid that was always into boxing, and just he has a real charisma, and he has a real awesome screen presence. And I could tell that even when he was 17, because I would see he would make these little videos, and I was like, wow, this kid really knows how to use this platform, you know,
Oh,
and make
yeah.
himself look appealing. So that's a skill set by itself. And, you know, he just took to that. But by the same token, you know, he was a great little boxer as he was winning the Junior Olympics and whatnot. And so he just kind of used the fact that he did have a large following to kind of step himself up. But I feel like he's a legit pro fighter. You know, he's not like one of those people that starts out in YouTube and then decides to train in boxing. He was always training in boxing.
Do
He
you
just
think,
also happens with the social media stuff.
do you think they hate on him
No,
because he's a good-looking guy that can fight?
yes,
Hey,
yeah, he's charismatic. He knows how to play the camera. He knows what his generation wants to see,
Right.
which is like something that I feel like I can't really relate to. You know what I mean? Like, I can't produce videos that the teens and the 20-somethings want to see, but he knows how to plug into that. So, you know, props to him.
Didi, you on Instagram now?
no,
I am.
What's your
But look
handle?
up
Huh?
D.
Hamaguchi fight.
What is it?
Hamaguchi, my last name, and then the word fight.
Nice. Okay. FIGHT. Okay.
D. Now, all this knowledge that I'm
Yes.
sitting up here listening to you talk about, just your last statements alone, and you don't think you would make a decent manager or agent?
It's just that I don't. To be honest, I don't feel like I'm the greatest business person,
Okay.
and in a sense, I don't know if I have the patience to deal with some of the characters that are
Okay.
in the boxing industry. If you know what I mean?
Ah,
I mean, look, folks like us. I mean, I love talking to you guys. You know what I mean? I love hanging out with you guys in person.
well, come
But
on
it's
down.
just-
Come on down. We
I'm
waiting
gonna have
on
to
you
make
like the
that
first of
trip.
the month.
Okay.
You know that saying?
We're gonna take care of it. We're gonna
We
take
waiting
care
on
of
you
it.
like the first of the month.
Hey D, let me ask you another question. You know,
Uh-huh.
being that you were in you were a pioneer of boxing, women's boxing, you're a professional fighter, you're active, you've never, as far as I know, you've never really stopped, right? So,
Right.
you know, I was very fortunate to get inducted into the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame. They deemed me worthy to be in it. You know,
Right.
I know that someday you're going to be in the Hall of Fame. You know, but you know, until you actually retire, you won't be nominated for the Hall of Fame. And I'm not trying to push you in that direction, just letting you know. You know?
Okay. That's funny. All right. Yeah, you know, I don't you know me, I don't really sweat stuff like that. But no, I appreciate that vote of confidence, you know, from you guys. That means a lot. I mean, just you reaching out to me almost
You know,
means more than
you're very humble, but the reality is you are who you are. You've done the things that you've done. And I like, you know, I lived in a small town in Florida. I moved from the Bronx to Florida, and I lived in this town called, it's not a small town anymore, but it was called Ocala, Florida. And me and a group of guys named Rodney Giles and Artie Hubner and a guy named Earl Frazier and a guy named Tito Ocasio, Juan Tito Ocasio, we started a boxing thing there, right? And some people
Right.
say that, you know, boxing prospered and did all these things. And I've done a few things. You know, I came to this town where I live at now where there was no boxing. But the reality is
Right.
that you didn't really implement women's boxing or males boxing into an organization where no one did that. To say that they were trendsetter or they paved the way and they've done those things, and by no stretch of the imagination am I kissing your butt or anything, but those are facts, right? And the fact that you're humble and the fact that you are who you are and you've always been this way, that makes it more appealing and more worthy and more, it gives it more merit, right? So, having a conversation with you and seeing all the things that you've done and the accolades that you've achieved in your life, it speaks volumes to who, what, and all the things that you represent in boxing. I was talking to Ray earlier, and we were discussing certain things because we have a tradition on the show, Boxing Playhouse Latin America, Boxing Playhouse Incorporated. We have Ladies Night, and this is the first Ladies Night that's been the first of the month. We do it every first of the month, and these things like this, to know that you're on our show is Ladies Night, and we haven't done this in a while, so you're christening our program, right? You say that you're honored for us to call you, but the reality is that we're honored to have you here with us to have these conversations. Like, look, this is another thing. You're from Canada, but I hear your New York voice. You have your New York accent. It's hard to part ways for the roots. Yeah,
Yes.
You don't say "a" like they do in Canada, no?
No,
Do you?
probably I do sound more like a New Yorker. To it.
Yeah. I mean, how long did you live in New York?
Like 20 years.
Wow, 20 years. Be honest with me, I consider myself a New Yorker, and I lived 20 years of my life. I lived the first 16, 17 years of my life in New York, left, came back, lived for like another 4 or 5 years. So I consider myself a New Yorker because I've lived there more than half of my life. I lived in Florida for the other half, and now I've been down here in Colombia for 7 years.
Wow.
But look, Laura Ramsey, she says, kudos to you, Hamaguchi. Do you know who Laura Ramsey is? Lady Ram?
Yeah, Lady
She,
Ram. Yeah, thank you, Lady Ram.
she's badass. She's badass.
Yeah.
We were talking about her earlier, how she trains. She trains Taz Brown, an awesome fighter. She was one of our title not too long ago. She trains male and females, and it's people like her, yourself, Cora and Dorba Weber, who paved the way for these women who are making the money that you guys deserve.
That's funny.
Hey,
Isn't it?
Didi, you seriously coming back, or you thinking about it?
No, I'm seriously coming back.
D, I gotta
I
put. Go
sure.
ahead. I'm listening.
I was gonna say, like, last time I ran into Danny and TJ, I felt like I was working towards something, and then boom, the pandemic hit, and I didn't quite get to finish what I was trying to build some momentum there.
D, I would like to work with her a little bit, like I did with your niece on the internet, just to give her some pointers on defense. How old do you now?
I'm
She's a
58.
young lady. You don't ask a lady her age. She's a young lady. Look how young she looks.
Well, all right, never mind. Forget the question, but I just was curious about the defensive part at this age. That's all.
Hey, listen. You know that Laura Ramsey just got inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, they have an
That's
international. I'm going to see you in there someday. I promise you that.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm sorry, the sun's going down here. So now
It's
I'm in the
okay.
darkness.
I know you're in California. I'm not going to keep you on too much longer. Let's talk about some of the things real quick, that how people can keep track of what's going on with Hamaguchi. I know that you said it a few minutes ago, but let's say it again. What are your handles on your social media, so people can keep in touch with what's going on with you? And maybe, hey, listen, you need to get together with Laura Ramsey, man. She knows the ins and outs of this business just like you do. She's actively involved. She knows how to get sponsors. She knows how to do all those things. And you might want to give her a call.
Okay, it sounds like a plan. Yep,
See, she just said it. She just said it right now. Laura Rams says, Hamaguchi, I would love to bounce some ideas off of you. You need to link
Okay,
up.
cool.
She's sharp, man, just like yourself.
I'll reach out. I'll reach out on IG.
So let's put it on. Let's tell people how they can get in touch with you, how they can follow you. What are your handles?
All my handles are Hamaguchi Fight.
Hamaguchi Fight on Facebook, Twitter, Instagrams, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, IG is the best place to catch me though, because that's where I spend more of my time than any other platform.
Okay.
So you can always reach me on IG.
Hey Ray, you got anything for the New York Golden Glove? You wanted to ask us some more questions? Say something real quick.
Man, she won me once she had Orlando Krautsky on the corner. She got me right away with that one.
Orlando's the best. I love Orlando.
We already know, man. You already know.
Yeah. You pulled the Tom Cruise on it. You got me at hello. You got me on Orlando.
You gotta bring him out of retirement. You gotta bring him out of retirement to tune you up again.
D, you need to come down here and let me and Danny work our magic. Danny's a marvelous trainer. He is a marvelous trainer. He knows his shit. When I tell you he knows his stuff, he knows his stuff. All right, come on down here and let us whip up some stuff with you.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
There you go.
We be in Santa Marta in no time. We be in Santa Marta in no time. Trust me, you'll be fighting in no time as well.
Okay, you know I mean? Sounds good.
And I personally never seen you fight because, like I said, I'm not from the New York area. I'm from like way off in the country, the sticks. You know what I mean? But I kind of fought my way up out the sticks. You know what I'm saying? And, I fought for the world title. I fought on HBO, a few other things. But I'm gonna check you out, and I'd love to get you down here and work with you.
Okay, sounds good. I look
hey,
forward
we just mentioned Taz, Carice Brown, Kaz. She is no joke. She says, "Hey, I'm dropping in to say hello to Hamaguchi." That's Laura Ramsey's fighter, man. She's awesome. She's come down. Laura Ramsey and Taz have come down to Columbia several times, and if I can't hook you up, they will hook you up. They know the lay of the land here.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so don't
there
lose
you go.
What's that?
All right.
There you go.
All right. Yeah, now thank you so much for that. I'm definitely gonna reach out.
Honey Boy Yamaguchi, Honey Boy. That's my boxing name, so that's what everybody know me by. So that's what I'm gonna hit you on Instagram from.
Oh, okay, cool.
So anybody want to give a shout out real quick before we end this? We got a few more minutes. You want to say hello to anybody? Give a shout out to any organization, the gym that you work out over there in San Diego right now.
Oh yeah, shout out to Victory MMA in San Diego. Also shout out to Highest Stand MMA in North Hollywood because that was my home base for the longest. Shout out to Wildcard Boxing in Hollywood. I love all you guys. Thank you so much for every single round anybody has ever given me. Shout out to Gleason's Gym.
Yeah, baby.
Bruce Silverglade.
Yep, you got it.
Yeah,
and
listen.
Shout out to all the OGs who are still in the game. We can't let this woke generation, change us. We're still gonna be Gen X or whatever we are. You know what I mean?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Hey, listen, I want to say thank you to you. I want to thank you very much. I want to give you a big, big hug. I can't wait to talk to you. Right when we get off the phone, I know you got to work out, but I want to talk to you real quick and we can line this up in the next day or two, talk about a few things. Look, Laura Ramsey, before I cut off, says American Boxing Organization welcomes you, Hamaguchi. So there you go. You're getting a lot of love out here, girlfriend. I want to thank you when they stay in contact. Hey, Ray, I'm going to let you say your goodbyes. And I want to thank everybody for watching our show this evening. Check out Hamaguchi on that's her handles on all social media. And make sure you press the like button and give us some love. Boxing Playhouse Incorporated. Listen, we work our butts off to bring you different aspects of boxing, different people, all genders, all creeds. We don't look at colors. We look at people, and hit the like button, subscribe, because we work real hard at this. I want to thank Sakura Armstrong, Emilio, the boss of bosses, and look up for my guys. Boxing Playhouse, Coach Luis Acevedo, Boxing Playhouse Latin America. We out. I'm gonna let the guys say their goodbyes.
Hey, take it easy. Hey, can you throw a shout out to my man Popo?
Do what you gotta do.
Popo, I'm in Colombia, baby. I'm looking for you, brother. That's my Brazilian brother. That's why you don't know me very well. You know what I mean? I used to train with the Brazilians a lot. You know what I mean? So I'm looking for my brother though. He's over in San Pablo, Brazil.
Popo Freitas.
Popo Freitas. I'm in Colombia, baby. Look me up. All
right, Ray, go, baby.
Where'd she go? Where is she? She's there?
She's there. No, she locked down. She's still there. It's just, it's getting dark in that there.
I can't see her.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm still black.
It was nice meeting you, man. It was nice meeting you. Good luck on your career.
Thank you so much. It was great meeting you. Great meeting all you guys.
Focus on that defense, man, because these guys out there, they trying to knock heads off. I don't want
to. He's a defensive guru.
Okay.
All right, baby. Boxing Playhouse, we out. Hamaguchi.
I'm very surgical, physical when I'm lyrical. So bat it down with medical, something critical. It's gonna take a miracle. Bright lights for some spiritual, written down like biblical. I finally reached the pinnacle. Yeah. Welcome to the house. The one they talking about. Word of mouth.